Yay! What is up, everybody? This is not week 21. This is the big Crait overview of the building Crait of what we've been doing over the past couple months. And so today we're just going to go into the full in-depth Lego build and just go into detail about what we actually did. So we'll get started with that. Hello, it is I, Stop Motion Genius. Today, I'm going to go over the part of the big snow and salt section, which this is a beauty. So, first off, let's just start. We have a nice white layer of multiple bricks. We have some white base plates in here from Bricks and Minifigs and of Lego Man's collection. But we also have some ripples in here to create an uneven surface. It kind of gives it more detailed rather than creating a flat, unnatural nature sequence, even though this is natural nature. Anyway, let's see. We can go, so we have some of these fire blasts from the TIE Fighter, and those are pretty detailed, and Lego Man worked on those. And yes, we have these VXD speeders, or 4 VXD speeders, however you want to call them. But they look really nice, and they're scaled down, and they have lots of detail and lots of little micro detailing. So we can go over the trench, and lots of different paneling inside here with some grill plates, 1x2s mostly, and then some different colors to kind of give it that, more natural look. And then we have some, obviously, rebels and some dead rebels in here. So, yeah, that kind of sums that part up. We have these salt trails coming from the 4 VXD speeders that start from here and coming outwards, which look nice. And we have a small detail of these 2 wings from the crash shuttle from Finn and Rose's ship. That is in the resistance base because the wings get cut off as they're entering the base right when they're shutting the door. And so some minifigure detailing over here. We have Finn and Rose with their crashed VXD shuttles when Finn tries to sacrifice himself. And then we have some First Order Stormtroopers. We have some different varieties of them, but they all are kind of charging. This detail of these aren't actually in the movie, but lots of people do this, and it just adds a final touch to that, too. And here we have Luke Skywalker versus Kylo Ren. Probably what I'd say one of the coolest parts of this movie, and we just created this little scene where we have old Luke and Kylo Ren going against each other. We obviously have the little salt trail right here that's coming from Kylo Ren, and then none from Luke because he's a ghost. Spoiler alert for those who haven't seen it yet. But, yeah, so we have the big TIE Fighter here I touched on. Lego Man Animations modified it in one of the earlier videos. But, yeah, it looks nice. We have the Heavy Assault Walker. This is just from, I'm not sure what the Lego set is called or number, but some Heavy Assault Walker. And then this is Kylo Ren's shuttle, which has Kylo Ren and Hux and a pilot inside, and Hux is being bullied. So we have another Kylo Ren in there. We have the big cannon. I forgot about that. This part was huge, and it looks really good. We have some, minor, machinery, robotic detailing on the sides of it and in the front of it to give it more of a robotic look. And then we have the turret. I forgot about this one too, but this turret looks nice. It's one of the turrets used in, obviously, the movie. There's 2 of them on either side, but we only needed 1. And it looks really nice. And yeah, I personally enjoy that. And so, yeah, let's go to Lego Man Animations.
Alright, thank you Stop Motion Genius for that really detailed overview. Now let's take a look at this really incredible resistance base here. It was actually Stop Motion Genius's idea to put a giant crack through the door to represent how the cannon blasted it open. And it saved a lot of pieces, which was great. So we have the wings outside, and then this really great dark bluish gray wall right here that leads into the base. And then around both sides here, we have lots of really detailed rock work, which I mostly worked on, but it just took so long. And then it's around the other side too, just not as much of it. On the roof here, we tried to recreate kind of the salt and white stuff combo, just kind of the revealed salt and then just kind of the white covering with lots of rock work built in. The roof looks really nice. So over here, we have a fun little feature that I made. Over here, we have my custom Millennium Falcon build. And in the movie, the Millennium Falcon shoots up through the salt to get to the surface. Now, on this side, you can see that I have a little Technic contraption going here. We actually have the Millennium Falcon suspended on this little piece here. Now, if we remove these pins from this little structure here, the Millennium Falcon will come out freely, like so. Here's a better look at the Millennium Falcon. It actually turned out really nice for such a small model. Now, if we plug it back in, there are 3 locations on the wall that you can hang it. Obviously, there's this really low location, and then we can also hang it up here, I believe. So we can hang it on this second slot right here, and now it's about halfway up the wall. And then the last spot we can hang at, if we take it out, and then we move it all the way up to its top spot here, where if we connect it, now it's about to breach the top. So there's 3 spots. It can be here, here, and here. We're going to leave it here for the rest of the video. So if we move around to the other side of the build, here we have probably one of my favorite parts of the build and some of my favorite detailing. We actually made 8 interior rooms here that kind of represent little mini scenes from inside the base. So as you can see, we have a lot of different rooms with different characters inside. We're going to take off each layer and take a quick little look. So if we take off this roof, we can move that to this side here. And here's our first little level. We have this little armory right here where Resistance troops can grab weapons and get ready for combat. Oops. And then over here we have a little communications center where these troops can be reporting in information. We have some boxes, some other little control areas, just some small minor details to make it look good. Now if we take this off, the next section is revealed. And here we have some of the most busy sections, in my opinion. On this side, we have some of the Bacta tanks that we see Luke Skywalker in Episode 5. We threw a little shower man in there because we thought it would be funny. And then we have some swivel chairs in front of these monitors. And then some more little detailing over here. And then if we move over here, we have some equipment. And these were supposed to be more like medical pods where people could go into if they're not feeling well. And then we have some more detailing in the corner. Kind of a more random section, just some ideas in our heads that we threw together. Now if we take this off, we're getting close to the bottom here. Now this is probably one of my favorite sections. I really like the way these things turned out. I actually have no idea what they are. I consider them to be little power cells of some kind, but they look really smooth with all the smooth tiling. It just turned out really nice. Then over here we'd have kind of the strategic like hologram table, hologram table, where they'd be surveying the battlefield, and I think getting that circular shape worked out pretty nice. Now, our bottom layer is actually based off of the movie, so you might actually recognize this scene. Who is that figure cloaked in black, you may ask? Well, that's actually Luke Skywalker. We didn't have 2 of his minifigs, so we kind of made him the best we could. And then we also have the older Princess Leia. This is when he walks in on her in her command post, and then he goes to join the battle. So we just wanted to recreate that because it's iconic and it's very cool. We're going to throw all of these sections back on. As you can see, they're held in place with these little 2x2s with a stud in the middle, and then everything else around is smooth tiling, so it fits in, but it doesn't get stuck. Alright, so now that the roof's back on, now we can take a look at the actual interior of the Resistance base. So now that we're looking at the interior of the base, you can see the crashed First Order shuttle that Finn and Rose crash into the base with. We thought it was a fun detail from the movie, and Stop Motion Genius made a great smaller scale First Order shuttle. Now it's surrounded by lots of Resistance troops who think it may be a First Order attack. We added some crates and rock on the wall to make it look more cave-like, and I think it turned out really nice in such a large-scale build. Now, on the right, we have this little tower that is what holds the Millennium Falcon structure in place. I tried to cover it with some rock work, and I think it looks pretty concealed over there. Now, if we move down to the bottom of the build, we can see a doorway where all the Resistance troops are running through to get out of the base. Now if we move along, there's some of the salt coming in with the crystals, which looks really cool. And then if we move to the corner, some resistance troops may find themselves lost in the base. We placed a small map just in case they get stuck. Now, all the way out, Stop Motion Genius made this great mini scene from the movie where Ray lifts up all the boulders to allow the escape of the resistance troops. Really glad to have that little section added in, and it makes the build look really nice. So this is basically all that we've got. This is the full Battle on Crait. It looks so good, complete, finally. These builds are all a little bit customized except for the shuttle, which is just from the 2015 Wave of Force Awakens sets. But this thing's been customized, and this thing's been fully customized, so a lot of fun custom vehicles in here. There's videos on most of those. I'll try to link as many as I can in the description. You can find them on my channel. That's going to do it for this main overview. Stay tuned for our final thoughts.
Okay, so we are back from doing our overview, and today we're just going to go through a little timeline of Crait and how it evolved into its final form. So, Week 1, this is the first week where we started building Crait, and we started putting the outer rim and putting this interior of these blocks that would hold it up for another layer. Lego Man likes to customize his doing those, and it looks pretty cool. And yeah, Week 2, we worked on the cannon, I believe, and yeah, that took a long time, but after several revisions, we got that. So you can keep going.
Yeah, so by Week 3, we'd started building more custom vehicles. We had the speeders and the turret complete. By Week 5, we were completely working out in the garage, which we had already started on, and we decided to expand our build because after building this trench and this cannon, we realized we were going to need a lot more room. So by Week 6 or 7, we had this full-size base plate out here with some of our custom builds ready to go. And all we had to do by Week 10 was get the salt all the way down.
And that was very exciting. That was our first milestone, was getting all the salt down and all of the necessary things for that. And then after Week 10, this is when we started working full-blown on the resistance base and then some final touch-ups on the salt. So the first thing we did in Week 11, 12, we started working around the rock work and started making these two pillars that towered up. Then we created the wall, which was, I believe, 13, 14, because those were 2 weeks where we worked up halfway, then we worked up the other half, and then Lego Man was working more on the outside of the rock work.
The next thing to decide was how we were going to fill up the rest of the perimeter of the resistance base. I didn't have enough rock work pieces left that we could span the whole left and right wing of the base, so we decided to put in some custom rooms, which was a great decision, and it looks really great. And then I thought maybe we should have one moving part in such a big mock, because that always makes them a lot more fun. So we created the little Millennium Falcon run, and then after that we started in on the main interior.
Yeah, so we started doing that, and then we started making more of the rock work in the interior, making more caved in, and then adding some of the walls and the things supporting the Millennium Falcon. And then, of course, the back section, which with the Salt Crystal Trail to lead to where Ray is freeing the resistance base with the big boulders. Yeah, but that basically sums it up. And oh yeah, and then in later weeks we added these vehicles, and then we also added the shuttle, and that was awesome. And then we got a little scarred trail behind the shuttle for collision with the rocks. So yeah, that basically sums it up, right?
I got you, yeah. So after just about 5 months of work, 20 weeks of building, this thing is done. We're so happy with how it turned out. I don't think it could have turned out any better because I'm just about out of pieces at this point. So we exhausted all the right kind of pieces into this build, and it is looking so great.
Yeah, this is also a sad day because it is done, so we can't work on it anymore, but we will do mocks in the future. And so this was an awesome Kickstarter for this. Moc was helping us boost building, and then this was a big and challenging project, but it ended up looking so good in the end, and we're glad we did this. Yeah, so any concluding remarks?
Thank you to everyone joining in on our live streams and commenting on our videos. We always enjoy making content for all of you. Now, depending on whose channel you're watching this on, there will be a link for the other creators' channel in the description with lots of other links with playlists for this series, some custom builds, and other great stuff. Thanks for tuning into this overview. By no means is this mock going to be destroyed tomorrow. We have a lot more videos to make with this.
Yeah, so we will, hopefully, maybe, do some stop motion with this thing, which would be awesome. Yeah, just the only challenge is that with the VXD speeders and the salt trail that you'd keep having to add that detail. Anyway, that's it for Crait, and that's all for building. So thank you everybody again for tuning in, and we'll see you in future videos.